ਇੰਡੀਆ ਅਫਰੀਕਾ ਟ੍ਰੇਡ ਕੌਂਸਲ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਵਿਖੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਅਫਰੀਕਾ ਟ੍ਰੇਡ ਕੌਂਸਲ ਦੇ ਨਵੇਂ ਟ੍ਰੇਡ ਕਮਿਸ਼ਨ ਦੀ ਨਿਯੁਕਤੀ ਮੌਕੇ ਨਰਿੰਦਰਪਾਲ ਸਿੰਘ ਆਨੰਦ ਚੇਅਰਮੈਨ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਅਫਰੀਕਾ ਟ੍ਰੇਡ ਕੌਂਸਲ ਨੇ ਇਸ ਮੌਕੇ ਕੌਂਸਲ ਦੇ ਭਵਿੱਖ ਦੇ ਪਲਾਨ ਅਤੇ ਪਹਿਲ ਕਦਮੀਆਂ ਤੋਂ ਜਾਣੂ ਕਰਵਾਇਆ। 27 ਦਸੰਬਰ ਦਿਨ ਸੋਮਵਾਰ ਨੂੰ ਨਵੀਂ ਦਿੱਲੀ ਦੇ ਚਾਣਕਿਆਪੁਰੀ ਵਿਖੇ ਮੁਮਤਾਜ਼ ਹਾਲ ਤਾਜ ਪੈਲੇਸ ਡਿਪਲੋਮੈਟਿਕ ਐਨਕਲੇਵ ਵਿਖੇ ਕਰਵਾਏ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਦੌਰਾਨ ਡਾਕਟਰ ਐਸ ਕ੍ਰਿਸ਼ਨਾ ਕੁਮਾਰ IAS ਵੀ ਮੌਜੂਦ ਰਹੇ। ਇਸ ਮੌਕੇ ਇੰਡੀਆ ਅਫਰੀਕਾ ਟ੍ਰੇਡ ਕੌਂਸਲ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਭਾਰਤ ਅਤੇ ਅਫਰੀਕੀ ਮੁਲਕਾਂ ਦਰਮਿਆਨ ਵਪਾਰ ਦੇ ਭਵਿੱਖ ਅਤੇ ਸੰਭਾਵਨਾਵਾਂ ਦੀ ਚਰਚਾ ਹੋਈ ਅਤੇ ਭਵਿੱਖ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਵਧਾਉਣ ਉੱਪਰ ਵਿਚਾਰ ਹੋਇਆ। ਐਗਰੋ ਬੇਸਡ ਇੰਡਸਟਰੀ ਦੇ ਭਵਿੱਖ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਾਧੇ ਦਾਇਰੇ ਮੁਤਲਕ ਕੌਂਸਲ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਪਾਏ ਜਾਣ ਵਾਲੇ ਯੋਗਦਾਨ ਉੱਪਰ ਵੀ ਖੁੱਲ੍ਹ ਕੇ ਚਰਚਾ ਹੋਈ ਅਤੇ ਉਮੀਦ ਜ਼ਾਹਰ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ ਕਿ ਇਸ ਨਾਲ ਸਾਰਥਕ ਸਿੱਟੇ ਨਿਕਲਣਗੇ।
I have been appointed today as the Indo-African Trade Council Trade Commissioner, and we will be representing 54 countries of Africa. And it is a council which tries to improve the trade between the India and African countries. It is both ways. So the African countries also want investments from India, and same way our Indian people also want to export their products to Africa. So this is a council, I am a commissioner which will look into the interest of the African people also and the Indian people also. So trade will move both ways. And our Indian Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi has given emphasis for trade. At every aspect the trade is important from India's aspect. So in that sense I am very lucky to be appointed as the commissioner. I am also into business with African continent. My company is also doing business with Africa. So in that way it will be I know much about African continent. So I have knowledge. I know the people, the culture there. So I can be of help to them also and to the Indian diaspora here for them to start their business with African continent.
Yeah, in the next year, what would be the key area you would like to work on?
The key sectors, the key areas, 101% is agriculture. Agriculture means, as I have told in my speech also, that the African the African soil is so fertile that even if you throw the seed out of the window, it's a proverb, out of your house, so you have in 10 days the tree growing. It is the most fertile soil in the world. And they have 60% of agriculture land in the world, but they produce only 10%. So my focus will be for agriculture sector. The future lies in agriculture.
Would there be any arrangement for northern Indian farmers, especially Haryana, Punjab, and other area farmers to connect with these African agriculture?
This body is open for all type of aspirations of our farmers also if they want to sell their products from here. It is an open market for them.
For agro business?
For agro business also, and then food processing business also, and for cold storage business also. So we are having a very huge potential. Africa is an untapped continent. So it is an untapped continent, and we should take advantage. Our people should take advantage of, because our relation with Africa is very strong. Compared to the African people, they trust India more than they trust the Europeans and other countries.
If you can tell us about the potential in the Africa, about the automobile sector, about manufacturing sector.
Automobile sector, see, my company is already into automobile business. And automobile sector means today there is such a vast potential. Like for tractors, you can say, for Massey Ferguson, for Ford tractors, and the auto parts segment for these vehicles. It is tremendous. It is like sometimes I get surprised when I see the orders. So sometimes I tell my customers, where do you put it? You throw all the products in the Nile River? What do you do with so much of product? So that consumption is huge.
So that is a demand.
That is a huge demand. So I will always say the future lies in Africa, because it is an untapped continent.
So that is unexplored and latent.
It's a continent where anybody goes there, he will be coming back with some orders in his bag. That is it.
I consider this event quite iconic in two respects. We are marking the first anniversary of the India-Africa Trade Council, and also the launch of this seminal book, India's Foreign Policy in the Post-COVID World. First and foremost, I think the future of India-Africa relations is bright. A lot has been done, a lot needs to be done, and we need to deal on the framework issues. so that at least the relationships are sustainable and long term.
ਉਧਰ ਰਿਟਾਇਰ ਅੰਬੈਸਡਰ ਸੁਰਿੰਦਰ ਕੁਮਾਰ ਵੱਲੋਂ ਲਿਖੀ ਕਿਤਾਬ ਇੰਡੀਆਜ਼ ਫੋਰਨ ਪਾਲਿਸੀ ਇਨ ਦਾ ਪੋਸਟ ਕੋਵਿਡ ਵਰਲਡ ਥਰੂ ਦਾ ਆਈ ਆਫ ਇੰਡੀਅਨ ਡਿਪਲੋਮੈਟ ਲਾਂਚ ਕੀਤੀ ਗਈ, ਜਿਸ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੱਖ-ਵੱਖ ਅੰਬੈਸਡਰ ਦਾ ਵੀ ਸਹਿਯੋਗ ਲਿਆ ਗਿਆ।
My name is Anil Trigunayal. I'm a former Indian ambassador and a member of the Indian Foreign Service. And we have contributed to this book, which is named India's Foreign Policy, through the eyes of the Indian diplomats in the post-COVID era. So this provides the information, the ideas, the vision, exactly how these distinguished ambassadors have looked at the evolution of the foreign policy, what are the new changes, challenges that are taking place in the post-COVID era or during the COVID times, because the collaboration is extremely important, international collaboration. India's help has been tremendous to Africa, to the rest of the world. Our vaccine diplomacy, for example, has been greatly appreciated everywhere. So we have stood with the people, as we call Vasudhaiv Kutumbakam. The whole world is our family. So India looks at it from that point of view, and that's what I feel that India has been able to do. But things are changing. Global world order is changing. Sino-China and American rivalry is increasing, which will cause a lot of stress in the global system. So that's what all this book is all about, and it will provide a very good insight into the way things are likely to emerge. You cannot say definitely, because we are in a transition from one global order to another. For the first time, I'm seeing that the India's foreign policy towards Africa has actually been evolved. We have had a big problem. I have myself served for about 12-13 years in Africa, starting from my very first posting in Ivory Coast, in many countries. And I find that there have been problems about our focus on Africa. We have always liked Africa. Africa has been always close to us. We had great relations with them, but we did not have the high-level interactions from Indian side. Even though we provided them capacity building assistance, we had done everything from 1964 onwards, but there was a problem in the relationship. Most of the time we looked at it from an ad hoc point of view. But over time now we have seen that at least since 2018, when Prime Minister Modi actually went to Uganda, that is the first time he outlined the 10 guiding principles. And the basic fundamental principle is that Africa for Africans. We will do what Africans want to be done. So that it is not for exploitation like China, like other countries. It is not a gold rush. It is for a mutual development and sustaining together. So India, as you know, we started off giving the aid, assistance, billions of dollars of assistance, thousands of scholarships to the African students we give. We are doing capacity building of their administrative machinery and creating skill development in the country. So there's so much is being done, but much more can be done. How? The thing is that whatever we promise, we should deliver in time. That is very important.
So if we talk about business policy, business foreign policy, like in India, unemployment rate is sky high after especially post-COVID. So to boost Indian businessmen, Indian traders, what should be done to boost
The thing
in
is
terms of Africa?
You see, in Africa there are tremendous opportunities.
Okay.
They have millions and millions of hectares of agricultural land available.
Okay.
For your food security, eventually you will need Africa to work with. So we can work with the Middle Eastern countries, with Israel, with other countries together jointly in Africa in the food processing sector and agriculture sector. That will help us. In the mining sector, everything is available. We are importing nearly 18-20% of our oil wealth. Oil comes from Africa. So we need to work on that. But at the same time, we need to develop it there through our enterprise, through our industry. We must invest in Africa for exporting to third countries. So you enable Africa, then you enable yourself in the process. And therefore employment for Indians also will be generated in that process. Because trade and economic engagement is a two-way process.
Right.
It is never one way.
Okay. What are the key areas where huge potential is there in Africa, like agro business or food processing?
That's what I
or-
said, agro business,
Yeah.
food processing. I myself seen some of our Punjab farmers had done amazingly well in Chak. When I was there, I got them a land mass for 800 hectares of land. in the place, and the 3 farmers from India came from Punjab,
Okay.
and they started this cultivation and everything else was there, which was what the Cameroon president told me he wanted. That same kind of a thing. So there is a lot of opportunity for Indian farmers and agricultural people to be there. Then what you produce there, then you need to process it. So food processing is very important. Once you process it, you export it, right? And then the cycle works on that. Then in terms of petrochemical products, there is a lot of opportunity. Pharmaceuticals, we are one of the biggest supplying to Africa. India is one of the biggest producers, and we are helping them. Vaccines like now we are talking about, they are looking for it. India can provide it there, so we should do that. So there is in the pharma sector and then the textile, and we create, that country, the 54 countries of Africa, we treat them as one, but each country is different, has different opportunities. There are diamonds, mines, there are all kinds of mines in Africa. It's the richest continent in the world. And India needs to look at it from a 20 years, 30 years, 40 years perspective. Then only we'll be able to make a dent in Africa. There is a tremendous goodwill. We have more than 3 million Indians who are very rich. The Nigerian president used to tell me that Indians are the second largest employers of Nigerians after the federal government. So we create employment in that country, and they are rich people. They own the industries. So this is what is very important from our point of view.
I invite Mr. Mohinder Pal Singh Anand to say the vote of thanks.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's an honor today that we have the ambassador of Zimbabwe, and he's representing the South Africa Trade Council meeting today. And it's a privilege that we have the embassies of several countries today with us. And at this occasion, we have recently appointed Mr. Narendra Pal Singh Anand as a Trade Commissioner of South Africa. And we hope that he shall be taking care of the Western region and he shall do the best possible for the growth of the relation between our two countries. And we thank you all to be present here on this occasion.
I invite the consul from the Embassy of Burkina Faso to please say a few words.
Good evening, everyone. I'm so glad today to attend this conclave with the ambassador of Zimbabwe, who told everything already about Africa and India. I can't add more than that. What I can say is to support this, we are here. From my side, my ambassador left on 30 of November. A new one has been appointed after Agremo. He will be coming, I think, around January or February. This information I just want to tell you. And I think Burkina Faso is open. We are here. We are sincerely in link with many businessmen already. Some are coming from Ghana to Burkina. Some are going directly. Even the president was saying that his brother-in-law in Dubai is doing good business in oil already in Burkina Faso. So we are here, and to this diplomatic collaboration also, we will be available with everyone. Thank you.
We have the representation from the Embassy of Ethiopia. We would request you to say a few words, sir.
Thank you very much. As my colleague said it well, His Excellency Ambassador have briefly summarized the India-Africa relationship, so I can't add more. But as long as Ethiopia is concerned, we are very much keen to receive the delegation yet. So we hope that we'll be able to receive the delegation very soon. And the embassy is very much ready to support you in any way possible. And unfortunately, my ambassador is a little bit sick, that's why she's not here today. And we are very keen to work with India-Africa Trade Council and other entities here. Thank you very much.
We also have the Trade Council from the High Commission of Ghana. Please join us, sir.
Thank you so much. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, this is a great opportunity, and I think that all has been said by His Excellency Ambassador of Zimbabwe. But I just want to add that the launch of the book on this particular day brings a new life into the India-African relations, particularly looking at the experiences that are available for us to share. And I think that this is a great platform, an opportunity for us to strengthen the collaboration between these two continents. I call India a continent because the diversity and the uniqueness of this country, it's amazing. And I would want to say that we are very ready to collaborate and to work together to achieve results that will inure to the benefit of the people of Africa and India. Thank you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
ਸਾਡੇ YouTube ਚੈਨਲ ਨੂੰ ਸਬਸਕ੍ਰਾਈਬ ਕਰੋ।